Well, that's kind of a problem for me now because I need blood!
That is a huge mess.
She really is.
Hello friends and welcome to my commentary corner. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back because I love having you in my corner. And today, we're talking about bullies, okay? I am the type of person, well first of all, I do not like bullies, okay? And this video will make that clear. But I'm the type of person who tends to very much give the benefit of the doubt to people. I want to believe the best in them, and unfortunately that can lead to me being maybe not as skeptical as I should be of some people. There are definitely straight up manipulative, evil people out there who have bad intentions for you and will try to get you to do what they want simply because you're too trusting. Now, I don't think that that means that we should just let go of this trusting spirit that we have. However, I know that I can tend to give it a bit too easily, and that can leave you as a target for bullies. And there's a bug. Ugh, I hate that. It's like a gnat. Anyways, the girl we're gonna talk about today is Miss Tammy Larson. Tammy is a headache. Tammy is a piece of work, and she very much fits the mean girl trope. It's very much giving Regina George. But the interesting thing about it is that it always comes back to Tina, and I wanted to talk about that today because that's kind of fascinating. So let's jump into it. Of course, without someone to bully, the bully, has no power. And unfortunately for Tina, she kind of became the subject of that bullying from Tammy. The thing is, on the surface, it can seem like, oh, she probably just hates her. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think that Tammy hates Tina. I think that she's threatened by her, and that is probably a more dangerous thing. It seems like every single time that Tammy is causing a mess, Tina is the common denominator. And you know how they'll say, oftentimes when bullying is occurring, it has a lot more to do about that person than you. It is an internal issue that they're dealing with, an insecurity that they have, something that they notice within themselves that they kind of hate or they resent, and they're projecting it onto you, or they're made to feel small in their own life by someone else, especially if they have a bad home life, and so therefore they take it out on other people. This is not an excuse though, okay? That does not excuse you from that behavior. It just can give kind of a reason why they are the way that they are. However, you gotta change, okay? Not that I think any bullies are watching this channel, but I will say there will be an occasional nasty comment or someone who just, especially, just with the internet and all of that, it is a scary and mean place sometimes, and if you've ever put yourself out there, put out videos, making content, you're gonna have haters, okay? And we all know that people really do be preying on your downfall. And I think because they're behind a screen, they think that they can just say whatever they want and that there will be no consequences or whatever. And I just want you to know there are real people who see those comments and they're hurtful. So yeah, but you know what, all of you guys who are watching right now, you're my lovely little burger babies and you can do no wrong. No, but especially just with the cyberbullying and all of that, you'll hear that the people who are commenting those things are much more unhappy with themselves than they are with the person that they're watching. More often than not, it's from a personal issue, personal insecurity that they have with themselves. So that's of course just some of the psychology behind that. But it's just interesting because Tammy is always trying to compete with Tina. The first thing that I thought of was the jelly bracelet episode when Tina shows up to school with her, new fancy jelly bracelet, and Tammy does too. And there's clearly not enough room for two people in this school to have a jelly bracelet. This is middle school, y'all. I can't. Oh! So Tammy just isn't having it and demands that Tina take it off and she be the only one who wears this. And of course, it turns into this huge blow up.
Take it off!
I would rather die.
Then you will die!
Slow playing! Detention!
And in this detention, they end up having an opportunity to get out of detention through competing against each other. And in this competition, they're putting together outfits for various teachers. And of course, Tammy and Tina are paired up. unfortunately. And the only way that their outfit is gonna win is if Tammy relinquishes her jelly bracelet, because Tina also has to relinquish her jelly bracelet in order to make the sleeves of this outfit work. And Tammy is refusing. She's like, no, no, no. And it's just all about this competition for her. I'll touch more on that in a little bit as far as just the way that they framed this whole thing and how they kind of teased that Tammy may relent and think about the good of the group instead of herself. But I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So that episode, first thing that came to mind, the babysitting episode where Tina wants to start a babysitting business to get a little extra green, and Tammy competing against her to have the better babysitting business or whatever. And Tammy doesn't care about babysitting. She cares about winning against Tina and taking her down. That is her sole objective. And so it's just all about, I gotta win against her. And it's very one-sided. It's like, ooh, kind of embarrassing, okay? Are you not embarrassed? And that insecurity very much took form in bullying. You know, the first thing that I thought of with just how Tammy will single Tina out. I mean, it was from the very first episode when she showed up in Bad Tina and she steals Tina's notebook and tells her that she's going to tell the whole school about her exotic friend fiction because this is just weird and you should be ridiculed for your hobbies and the things that you like. And so she's trying to put her on the spot and embarrass her. And of course, Tina then takes charge and reads her own friend fiction, exotic friend fiction, in front of the school to take care of that. And I mean, she kind of does. The Wagstaff School News episode with the Mad Pooper and sabotaging Tina. You know, she's auditioning to be on the news and be an anchor. And Tammy tells her,
Oh, hey, Tina, little tip. You're a super fast talker, so talk really slow.
Thanks, Tammy.
Whoa, that's still way too fast.
I'm Tina with the
and effectively ruins her chances at being on the school news. But then, of course, Tina turning it around and making her own segment and that being very successful. And then, of course, Tammy just being frustrated by that because how could she... like I put her down, how could she come back up again? You know, very underdog of Tina. In the episode Tina and the Real Ghost, you know, Tina gets her ghost boyfriend in the shoebox, it brings it to school, is talking about it. Well, really, Tina and Tammy, and I'm gonna continue mixing up these names, I'm so sorry. Tammy and Jocelyn noticing the box, making fun of her for it.
I didn't know it was take your mom's shoes to school day.
There aren't shoes in this box. It's a ghost.
You're totally lying, and lying is bad for your skin. Thank you.
And then immediately being jealous of her for it after she starts getting attention because of the box and because of the ghost boyfriend, and takes it upon herself to steal said boyfriend.
But look what I found when I came out.
Tina and I are taking a break? Tammy, you are hot? Be my GF?
Jeff asked me out. And of course I said no, because that's not fair to Tina. Just kidding! I said yes! I guess now I have a hottie without a body.
It is almost like the epitome of, or no, not the word I want to use. This is almost the culmination of all of Tammy's ridiculous nature. She went so far as to steal a fake boyfriend for attention, especially if you're an adult and you're looking back at this, you're like, wow, that's, oh my gosh. And there's this girl on TikTok who talked about embarrassing things that she would do in middle school for attention, you know, like the whole wearing the ace bandage wrap or the knee brace, or she literally put a Fitbit on her ankle so that people would ask her about it. And like, I mean, just crazy stuff that kids would do that some of us unfortunately have done, maybe for attention. And she just couldn't stand the attention being on her any longer, and so she literally steals a fake boyfriend. And it's just, it feels like the perfect example of how ridiculous this all is. To what end, Tammy, are you wanting to tear Tina down and to be in the spotlight? Another one that I was thinking of was the episode where Tammy is left behind by her parents. They forget about her when they're going on to a cruise. And so she's left behind and has to stay with the Belchers for like a week, which is unfortunate for them because Lord have mercy, they see how awful this little girl truly is.
No offense, but I just don't eat food that's homemade.
Could we get you something else, sweetie?
That's okay, I'll just order in.
Tammy!
What?
Okay, every towel's on the floor.
Relax. You're out of hot water, so no one's gonna need a towel.
There's a situation where Tammy meets a boy and basically is texting with him, but she doesn't really have a personality of her own. And so Tina talks through her and talks to the boy through the phone and is basically catfishing this guy. And the guy falls for Tammy, but it's actually Tina. And up until the end, Tammy is going with this lie. She refuses to give up her place. And it's all about her. It's all about Tammy.
She's Tammy, she's glammy, she's just a little hammy. Tammy, yeah.
She does finally relent and let it go, lets Tina have the guy.
I'm really sorry. It looks like we're out of napkins.
Well, that's kind of a problem for me now because I need one! Forget it. I'm out.
I'm out too, Brett, of the closet. The whole time you were talking to me, not Tammy.
Now, this is after all of her resources are exhausted. I don't even know if that's really much of a win. I think it's a small window into some redemption for her, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I feel like Tina really is like the perfect test for Tammy's character. Tina is pretty much the exact opposite. She is awkward, just kind of a weird girl, doesn't really fit in, is quirky, all of those things. She's just not popular, conventionally attractive, I guess, and so that just leaves her on the outskirts a bit. She does want to be on the inskirts. I don't know. She wants to be in the circle and she wants to be popular and noticed by the popular kids. But ultimately, I think Tina is confident in who she is, likes who she is, likes that she's quirky, and very much encourages and preaches that other people be their quirky selves. Meanwhile, Tammy is obsessed with her image, how she's perceived. Any fad or trend that comes along, she's hopping on it. So that leaves for her very much lacking in the unique department. Definitely not quirky, definitely lacking in personality. And I think that even though Tina's personality is kind of weird, it makes Tammy mad because, well, she doesn't really have much of one at all.
How come a day can be sunny, but a night can't be moony?
That's a freaking great text.
And I will text.
An emoji of a high-heeled shoe? Tammy, you have to put words to your feelings.
Like the word shoe?
Why don't you say, hi, Brett, do you ever think that shoulders are the butts of the arms? You know, normal stuff like that.
And then maybe on top of that, Tina being so unapologetically who she is probably leads to just a frustration and envy within Tammy because she just can't do that. But pretty much all of who Tina is threatens Tammy. Her popularity, her social status, all of that. It very much reminds me of Daria and Quinn and how Daria, in and of herself, threatens Quinn's popularity in her mind because they're just so different and she like brings down her cool level. But anytime that Tina is getting attention, Tammy has to squash it. She has to redirect it. She has to reestablish her position as Queen Bee because there can only be one. Granted, that is true technically in bee culture and life, but it's not that serious. Like, it's middle school. But I think touching back on just the redemption, she kind of has redemption a little bit, not really. Okay, so to be honest, when I was first thinking about this video, I knew I wanted to talk about Tammy, and initially I wanted to talk about how I feel like Tammy has had chance after chance after chance to redeem herself, to show a different side to her that's not just mean girl. And I think Bob's Burgers does a fantastic job at giving its characters room for growth and development, dimensions. They rarely have a one-sided character, which is, I think, such a great aspect of the show and why so many people love it, because it feels realistic, you know? It feels like how actual people operate, you know? But Tammy doesn't really have many dimensions, and I don't know if they're gonna kind of get to it. They're touching on it. And you know, you guys, I'm trying to remember through this show. I've seen it so many times, and I'm trying to remember through the Tammy episodes. So rarely does she even have some kind of, I don't know, opportunity for sympathy, because they just don't really give her those moments. Like, you know how you'll see those movies or TV shows where it's like the bully will have that moment where they're by themselves and you get a window into why they are the way that they are. Maybe they have like abusive parents, or they're like unhappy because they don't like how they look, or like all of those things. But it so rarely, I think, happens for Tammy. I think a couple of things are in like her hair. She continually dyes it because as a blonde, she just, I guess, feels prettier. Or like, you know, she farts so much and so she feels insecure about that, but that doesn't ever lead to her humbling out, you know? And I feel like the only real instance that I can think of some redemption for her is in that episode where she's staying with the Belchers and her parents are on the cruise. And it's barely a redemption for me personally, because she only relented to Tina and this guy getting together because, again, there was no other option for her to lie. There was no way of getting out of it. She had come to the end of her rope, and so therefore she just kind of had to give it up.
Forget it, I'm out. You seem to have some gross chemistry and you both make me tired. So just go walk together on the beach already.
And I think at that point she was just kind of tired of lying. I don't think she really even cared about the boy. I think she just cared about the competition with Tina. And so she did finally let go of that competition with her and let her have a win. But it was at the end of things, and I don't know. But it is a small opportunity, small window for her. So I guess they're trying to build on her a little bit, but she very much has filled that mean girl trope, stereotype. I mean, and so something that I had mentioned earlier and that I thought about too was just, you know, how she's given lots of chances to be redeemed and doesn't ever really follow through with that. The jelly bracelet episode, when the only way that their group is going to win is if they can, both Tina and Tammy, give up their bracelets to put this outfit together for the sleeves. There's a scene where they're fighting over it and Tina's like, you know what, I'm gonna let go of my jelly bracelet, because at first Tina was also being very stubborn, but Tina finally realized, you know what, this isn't that serious. I'm gonna let it go. Tammy, I think we should do this for the group, because ultimately they were gonna get out of detention. It was like Saturday. Of course, they're not trying to be there. So she's like, you know what? I can give this up for the sake of the group and us having, you know, our freedom back. And the scene ends right there. And so you think, oh, well, you know what? Because then they reveal the outfit and it has both of the jelly bracelets on it. And so you're thinking, wow, Tammy, she finally gave it up and she thought about the group and she let go of her pride and her stubbornness. No, she did not. They literally had to force the bracelet off of her. This little girl, up until the end, she could not relent. And so that's why I'm like, I think it always kind of comes back to Tammy. I mean, she's just consistently self-centered, consistently manipulative to get her way. And I very much think that kind of through and through, she's a mean girl. Now, I think that could change for her if they want that to change, but also, I think it's also kind of fine if she is the mean girl. I mean, if she's the Regina George, you know, it's like, maybe that's meant to be her character. Maybe she's not meant to have a good side, I guess. And that's fine, you know. I think that sometimes that one-sided character can prove as very much just a counterweight to some other characters, namely being Tina, you know. So I think her presence alone helps for Tina's generosity, her caring spirit, her nurturing, her acceptance to really shine through even more because of Tammy and her constantly trying to put her down. I mean, she's almost just like a source of adversity for Tina. And Tina, you know, constantly is just rising up against her. So that's very satisfying. I guess if Tammy did have more good qualities and kind of came out where she was just, you know, actually this good girl who was misunderstood, there wouldn't be much, I guess, for Tina to push against. But that's my verdict, y'all. I really think Tammy is the resident mean girl of Wagstaff. She is the Regina George, and up until the end, it's about Tammy and Tammy. Yeah, you know, she's entertaining, to say the least. And she's got that going for her. So anyways, that's just what I kind of wanted to talk about. Hopefully this, I don't know, was eye-opening or somewhat insightful for you, or just, you know, fun. That's always my goal, is to leave you with a smile. So anyways, if you guys have any other topics that you would like to hear me talk about, make sure to leave that in the comments below. Hit that like button if you liked this video, and hit that subscribe button so that you can see the alerts for these videos, and so that you can see this face a whole lot more. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye!